I guess Roadblock was more of a speed bump. What's up, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome back to my 2K16 MyCareer Let's Play. Ebenezer's Revenge, PS4, etc., etc., fighting Dean Ambrose on SmackDown. Dean Ambrose, who could not get it done, came so close, but could not get it done last night on Roadblock for the world title. So let's get into that. Here on a fine Sunday morning, as I record this, on Ebenezer's road to Fastlane, no pun intended, and I feel like the expectation last night for Roadblock was perhaps a bit too high in terms of things, actually changing the course on what's going to happen as we head into Mania here in like 3 weeks. But as I had been saying for, a little bit now, it was a house show. Like, you don't expect things to happen on house shows. The last time that the world title changed on a house show was 22 years ago, Bob Backlund and Diesel. So I didn't expect that to, actually make any bit of a difference. And certainly I enjoyed a lot of those matches, and I had a good time watching it, but I didn't have any expectations in terms of the path of the company changing at, what is essentially a network special, which was essentially a house show. But, that being said, I don't understand the decision on the booking committee, and as far as whose idea that was, who fucking knows. But whoever's decision it was to decide to bring out Chris Jericho in Toronto to cut a heel promo, and then try to get the crowd to get behind Jack Swagger in Toronto, which is in Canada. What? Like, that was like, not that Chris Jericho can't get it done on the mic. Certainly he's one of the best to ever do it. But that just seems like the crowd's going to want to cheer Jericho, even though he's doing this heel thing against AJ Styles. Like, don't bring out the all-American Jack Swagger and think that the crowd's going to cheer for him just because Chris Jericho's going to cut a heel promo. Like, that was one of the most tone-deaf things I've seen them do in quite some time. And maybe it was Chris's idea. Maybe he was like, "Look, I can do this. I can make this happen. This is how good I am. I'm gonna cut this heel promo and get over Jack Swagger in Canada." Jack Swagger, come on now. It was just so weird. I don't understand what the point of that was. But in any event, yeah. So matches there kind of didn't make the most sense. It's like, hey, we had Sami Zayn versus Stardust. That match the pacing on that match seemed off to me. Those guys are both, very talented, but the pacing on that match seemed... I just gave you a signature, and you kicked and you moved from... So, I should mention, this is back on hard. So, I have resumed being on hard after being on easy for, the Rumble and on episode yesterday. So, back on our usual path here. And I'm supposed to connect with 3 aerial moves, which is my authority goal. Not that I should really care what the authority thinks, but I can always use extra points. That's, not a bad thing, I don't think. But yeah, Dean Ambrose in that main event, man, they had a nice, that match had some nice back and forth action. It was well done for what it was. But I think the expectation that Dean Ambrose was going to win there was kind of a bit overstated. Like, they're very clearly going with Roman Reigns winning at Mania. Clearly. And here is the Bonsai drop. Bonsai! I wonder if that counts as an aerial move. Probably not, right? What the hell was that? Grab him. I need to do my third... I need to do my third arrow move here, and it's not working. And Dean Ambrose is just wearing me out here, which is going to be a problem shortly. Oh man, here we go. He's got his signature, so I definitely should be careful here. Or I can do that. Oh, and he just does the same thing back to me. Like, here's to you. Well, that's still not a signature, Dean. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're doing. Oh man, a submission hold, really? No. No. Hate you. Hate you and your shit. Not even sure what else happened on that show. I'm like, there were some matches and they were all right. Didn't really have any complaints. Thought it was interesting that they kept Kevin Owens off that show, because I would assume that crowd would have been all about Kevin Owens. So they had Natalya, and she had a actually pretty long match with Charlotte. So that was fun. It's good times. But yeah, like everybody who had a belt that was defending it, retained it, and kind of maintained the status quo, as it were, because, again, it's a house show. Don't expect too much. Like, that's kind of, where they can go and cut loose and kind of do whatever, but obviously a little bit different. So, I will say, oh, god damn it. Specifically, Michael Cole, I'm not sure if maybe Vince wasn't in his ear or whatever, but I thought he was doing all right there with what he was given. And actually, he referenced, which I think it might have been for the first time, they referenced the Sami Zayn Ole chant being related to his former gimmick, or his former self, or a former... It was the first time they've actually had any kind of acknowledgement for El Generico. So that was neat. There we go. That should finish it up here. There's the finisher. I still don't know what you need to do to be disciplined. Like that shit doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, I got my authority order complete, so there's something.
Welcome back to the show.
What do you want, Renee?
This is my guest tonight.
What do you want?
You were mentioned by Triple H as one of the bright young stars in WWE.
Young.
What do you think about that?
Which of these answers is disciplined? I'm just gonna say I don't trust it, because like I was in the authority, apparently I'm not in the authority anymore. And this storyline stuff makes no effing sense, and I should be feuding with the authority, I guess, because I don't know. I don't trust it.
I don't trust it.
I'm bold.
They don't call Triple H the cerebral assassin for nothing. I am one of the brightest superstars in the WWE, but I did not get here by trusting lying filth like Triple H.
Except that time I spent in the authority, we're just not going to mention that. Like actual WWE, we're going to forget things that happened 6 months ago. If it was more than 3 months ago, it never happened. And certainly we're going, in big chunks of time here. It is already 2018 as we head into Raw, which is, hey, it's Wade Barrett once again. So I guess we'll fight Wade Barrett once again. Is he even in the rankings for the world title? Probably not, right? Probably not. No, he is certainly not. But hey, I beat Ambrose, and yet my ranking is not increasing. I'm still stuck at 4 here. You would think I'd be at number 1 because I won the Royal Rumble. You'd think I'd be the number 1 contender. But if I'm not, they've not done any job in this game at all explaining why I would not be, having won the Royal Rumble, having supposedly guaranteed myself a spot in the main event of WrestleMania. I can't even get in the main event of Raw. So, what's wrong with that picture? I'm afraid I've got some bad news, and that is much like most of your matches, Wade. You're gonna lose this one. Gonna lose this one. That's kind of what you do lately. I guess that's kind of why he's leaving when his contract is going to be up this summer. Supposedly. Not confirmed. Supposedly he's going to be out in like June or July. But thankfully, so will Brie Bella. Man, I can't wait till that happens. Just, like, we're seriously going to get Brie Bella versus Lana at some point before she leaves? Like, that seems like a terrible idea. Like, I'm not going to say that, you know, like, obviously, we haven't seen any matches from Lana, so, you know, maybe she's fine. Maybe she's good. But, slap. Here's the thing. And here's why, in wrestling, historically, that the territory system from back in the 70s and 60s and the 80s, and the territories worked in developing talent for a very good reason. When you are a new talent, you don't want to fight other new talent. When you're green, you don't want to fight guys who are green. You want to fight the older, more experienced guys who've been around the block and know what to do, and they help lead you through those matches, and you can develop your skills better. So, that being said, if you're going to have Lana start working matches, you don't start her off with Brie Bella, who has not had a good match to save her life. She's like at least Nikki has gotten better, but Brie was bad from day one and is still bad. And nothing against her personally, she's not a good wrestler. So having her, who's been there forever and is still just like her, and Tamina Snuka have been there for so long and just still can't work a competent wrestling match. Having her work Lana, who, you know, hasn't worked a match in front of a loud crowd, to my understanding, is the blind leading the blind. Like, why on earth would you ever do that? Like, say you brought in some new guy from NXT, some green guy who just showed up NXT and had him work Braun Strowman. That's going to be a bad match. Now, if you, by some miracle, brought back Shawn Michaels out of retirement and you had Shawn Michaels fight Braun Strowman, that could probably be a good match, because Shawn Michaels knows how to fucking put on a good match. Braun Strowman does not. So, it's unfortunate that we don't have the territory system anymore, for that simple reason, that, like, the ways to learn your craft now is you go to Japan, you go to Mexico. You know, there are ways to do it, but it's not nearly as awesome as it was back in the day when there were, you know, 15, 20 territories. You go in for 6 weeks, work some top guys, and then move on. Like, it made so much sense. You could learn a different subset of skills from so many guys, whereas now everybody goes through NXT, so they're all learning from the same teachers, all learning the same sets of skills, and that just makes everybody so fucking similar. Like, didn't it seem weird when, like, how many guys were doing those between the ropes suicide dives? Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, the Usos, and they all came up through that system. Obviously, Daniel Bryan had plenty of independent stuff before then, but you get to a point where you see a bunch of guys doing the same stuff, and they all came through NXT. So, it begs the question, you know, like, if they're not learning from elsewhere in the world, and certainly I'm not saying, hey, you should go to TNA, because that's not going to do anything. That's not going to do any good either. But if you're not going anywhere else, you're not going to learn what would hopefully be, you know, the shit you should be learning, which is a damn shame. But hey, that's just me going on another rant here on these videos, because, you know, is what it is. But that's just my thought on it. And there we go. Wade Barrett getting pinned once again. Alright, that wraps that up. I don't actually know what my authority goal was there, so we failed it. Win by submission, that's never going to happen. Okay, Renee Young, what could you possibly want now?
Let's talk about what happened out
I beat Wade Barrett. That's not news. Oh, the authority is displeased with me. God forbid. Okay. I will not let the authority win. Triple H deserves better. I will crush Anyone against the authority, I'm glad they hate me. Well, I'm trying to be a face, so we go with the basic X answer here, as always.
I'd be displeased with me too, based on what I'm doing out there.
What I'm doing out there.
The authority ruin the WWE. I will stand in their way. I will fight for what is right, and I will fight for what the WWE Universe wants. And that's for the authority to be overthrown.
Yeah, because that worked out so well for Dolph Ziggler.
There you have it.
Back to you, Cole. And that, my friends, is going to wrap up yet another edition of the 2K16 MyCareer Let's Play as we barrel towards Fastlane and our mystery opponent and all that other shenanigans and nonsense that's been going on with this particular thing. And we're fighting Roman Reigns because, sure, why not? What is our authority goal for that show? Put on a 4-star match or better and lose to Roman Reigns. There should be a little thing underneath that says, make him look strong. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make him look strong. I'm sorry. I refuse to make Roman Reigns look strong. No. There's enough of that in real life. No thank you. And he's number 1 there. So me losing to him is going to decrease my ranking. And I'm trying to get into that top 3, even though I should have a spot in the main event of Mania anyway because I won the Rumble. But hey, the game could screw me. Much like certain guys in real life, the game could screw me. So, we'll see. But until then, until next time, as always, I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. Every day, more videos right here on the channel. I'll see you next time, and I'm out.